Okay, we're going to get started, everyone. Thank you so much for being here for part one of Down to the Wire. Some last minute encouragement as you work to submit and work on your YAS Prize application. My name is Caroline Allen, and I am the Vice President of the YAS Prize. This is our 7th webinar, I believe. So it's been so great to hear from our alumni, give applicants some really exciting information that is on our website, but also just expanding a little bit more on it. If you did not get a chance to see our other webinars, our numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, if you type YAS Prize YouTube in Google, you'll see our YAS Prize YouTube page, and that has all of the past webinar recordings on there. And Josephina from our team will definitely send that out in the subsequent email following this presentation. But today is really all about inspiration. It's both to give you a little bit more knowledge about why the YAS Prize community is so exceptional, but also to remind you that, I spoke with someone the other day and they're like, oh, like, I have to make sure I have like 2 weeks to work on this application. And I'm like, no, you need like 4 to 6 hours. So really just to provide, to break down some of those misconceptions or those misnomers, to prove why we're different and why there's absolutely no reason why you shouldn't all submit your YAS Prize application. Today, I'm going to be talking about benefits for our applicants, benefits for our quarterfinalists and our awardees. Then we're going to hear from David Wofford and Kenesha Skaggs, 2 of our incredible alumni from our last year's cohort, who will introduce themselves and share a little bit more about their work. And then we'll take some Q&A from the audience. As you think about questions, we're going to be using the Q&A portion of the Zoom. So you'll see the chat and the Q&A. For any questions that you have, please put them in the Q&A as we go, and I will definitely answer them at the end. Okay, so this is something that we started last year, and it was just so incredible. And so we want to first start talking about, what do all applicants get? And you might be thinking, well, that's strange because usually just the awardees or the winners get something. But that's not the case for the YAS Prize. Just by submitting your application, you get a few really exceptional opportunities that, again, make the YAS Prize stand out from other, traditional grants or other grants that you may have applied for. So let's talk about those. The first is the YAS Prize Movement Platform. This is something that we started again last year, and it's just been growing since we started it. So we use a platform called Hivebright, and it is really a personalized LinkedIn for our community. And when I talk about our community, it's both our awardees and our alumni. So just by submitting your application, you get access to this incredible platform. We have live feed and announcements in there. You have a directory where we can have a full scope of where everyone is and what. So if you're going to New Orleans, you can see who from the YAS Prize community is already in New Orleans. And it's just an incredible way to hear about different opportunities, to see who's going to the charter school, conference, to see who's at ASU GSV. Someone the other day needed to interview 20 different educators. And so Abby Coyle from Class Equity wrote on the platform and was like, hey, I need to interview these people as I'm, getting funding for my app. And within, a couple of days, she had all of her spots filled. So it's really a personalized LinkedIn for our community. This is the map feature that I was speaking about. And it's so cool that, this is going to double next year. So you get to see who's active. So as you see over here, like Don Cipher is from Las Vegas, Nevada. He was one of our awardees from last year. And then you can see on the map where everyone is. And if you zoom in even more, you get to see like really where they are. So we know we have 21 people kind of active from Arizona, but then if you can zoom in, you can see who's from Phoenix, who's from, all the other cities. And it's just a way to kind of, see what's out there, see the breadth and the scope and the depth of our applicants and our awardees. What also we have, the second thing that all applicants get access to is our 3-week virtual accelerator bootcamp. And this is just one of our highlights of the YAS Prize. We have a 3-week Bootcamp, which gives you access to the most incredible speakers. There's different sessions on Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays. There's 5 sessions total, each about an hour. So you walk away with 15 hours of of sessions that will make you think differently. And when we think about a normal education conference, you think about like let's talk about grading, or let's talk about retention of staff and hiring. But these are speakers that help you to think about like your business plan, help you to think about like your trajectory as an organization or a school or a business. And so these are really different types of speakers than you've probably had access to at other conferences. A lot of people attend live. But you'll also have the full recordings and all access to everything of the recorded videos in a folder, as long as you kind of join the platform. So once everyone submits their application, you'll automatically be invited to this platform, and there's just endless opportunities once you get in there. These were some of our speakers from our virtual accelerator last year. Everyone from Roger Love, who is a celebrity voice coach. He's coached Bradley Cooper. He was phenomenal in terms of, as leaders, you're doing public speaking all the time, whether you're speaking to a family, you're speaking to a community group, you're speaking to a group of parents. And so he really talks about how to make sure that the way you say something matches what you're saying. To, investment, venture, and impact capital, to Michael Horn. He's a super famous author and podcaster talking about innovation and impact. Really, the 15 sessions are so diverse. And this year we've already started inviting our speakers. And so we took the best of the speakers from last year, the ones that got the highest ratings, invited them back. So far, all of them had said yes. We're sprinkling in a few new ones. That are just going to be super remarkable. So our speakers haven't been announced yet, but based on last year, we get better and better each year. And again, this is something you can do from your office desk. Like, you don't have to be coming and visiting us, which is the benefit of Zoom. And again, really thinking through how are you going to make sure that you are the most successful, so that you can be, spot on for your students and families that you serve. And then we have specific benefits for our awardees. So those were just all for applicants. So if you submit by July 15th, which we hope you do, and we know you will, those are some opportunities that you get. Now, obviously, if you could become an awardee of ours, the options are limitless, and you get access to even more things. And obviously, these are in addition to the funding. And all of our awardees say that, the funding is important, and the funding is crucial, and it really connects them and catapults them to the next stage. But it's these other things, these non-monetary things, that are even more rewarding and helpful. So within that platform, you get access to private channels. So you'll get to know the quarterfinalists super well. You'll get to know the semifinalists super well. The finalists all know each other really, really well. And so there's specific groups that allow you all to just communicate privately among each other. Then we also have our in-person accelerator, which is in Miami, Florida. It was last year and it will be this year. We'll be at the Mater Brickell Academy, which is one of our first awardees, Academica, our first year. They have this beautiful new school building in the heart of Brickell Key in Miami. And that's where we bring like the cream of the crop speakers live to our semifinalists in Miami. So we had Michael Moe, and he actually interviewed 3 other Michaels: Michael Sorrell, Michael Carter from BizEquity, and Mike Hoke from Hoke Global. So they did a whole session on how to think big and how to, make your dash count. To everyone from Randall Lane, who is the editor at Forbes. As you probably know, Forbes is our media partner, and we do a lot of events and things with them. So the opportunities, the virtual accelerator really builds to the Miami accelerator, which is for 1 week in Florida. And it's all really, designed to, one, give you access to speakers and people who are going to make you think differently. And then 2, really set you up for success to get to that next stage. Another thing that is super important for, all of our potential applicants and our, hopefully soon to be awardees, is just ongoing team support. So we have our Yas Prize, where we give you access to a lot of different opportunities. The first being writing op-eds as on our Forbes contributor page. So here, if you see on the left, the perils of not investing in financial literacy, it's an incredible op-ed from Brian Curcio, who is the founder of Rapunzel. He was on one of our webinars. So if you want a chance to learn more about financial literacy, he is incredibly awesome. And he wrote an op-ed for us. Chris Galassi-Worrell has written an op-ed. So we invite awardees of ours to kind of tell their story or say why they started their organization. And that is just a way to get your mission out and get your story out. Then we also have our alumni who are doing different things. Shiren from Colossal Academy in Fort Lauderdale has started the South Florida Connect. This was an event this past Saturday. And we help to, give her press and we help to update her press release. We put it on the platform. We'll connect her with different people in order to make sure that this event is the best possible. So with a lot of grants, you are a part of it. And then once the funding gets established, or once the funding gets to your bank account, the relationship stops. But that's not like the Yas Prize. With the Yas Prize, once you are an alumni and once you are a part of our family, we forever want to stay in touch with you. We forever want to continue to connect with you and visit with you and have you write stuff for us and help to promote you and help to connect you all, because you're all doing incredible things with each other, right? So it's really catapulting you in so many ways to the next step. And these are just two quick examples. These are some other opportunities. So this top was visiting in Oklahoma and visiting an awesome group of legislators there who are focusing on, making change in Oklahoma. They met with the governor of Oklahoma, and we brought like 6 or 7 of our awardees there to meet with them and to think about how can some of our alumni who are doing amazing things be, welcomed in Oklahoma and bring that change to Oklahoma. Up here on the top right, we brought a whole bunch of our awardees to DC and met with leaders on Capitol Hill, met with House of Representatives speakers. And that was a great opportunity. So we have Wade Moore here, Rob Levins. And that was such an incredible opportunity. Again, knowing that you're on the ground doing such incredible work, in your states, but there's also this broader idea of education freedom and how can we make sure our states are, more helping you to be sustainable, helping you to be permissionless. And so bringing together both the policy piece and the action piece of running schools and running businesses is where we try to make magic happen. On the bottom left, we have Michael Moe here. We have Jeannie Allen and Janine Yas. And that was part of the first SMU GSV Summit. We attend events like, GSV. This was a kind of a spinoff, and we invite our alumni to speak. So Lynn from Young Women's Prep in Texas was one of the speakers. Taylor Shedd from our first year was a speaker there, and also Diana Diaz Harrison, who was our last year's winner, all spoke at this incredible conference. So, and then we recently honored Dr. Howard Fuller. If you don't know about him, he's an incredibly bright and forward-thinking reformist who has really worked both in Milwaukee and beyond to bring change to schools and communities. And so it was his 82nd birthday, and we were in Austin last week building off of the National School Conference, and we invited a bunch of our alumni there to celebrate him. And so, these are just some of our opportunities, but really it's about making sure that our alumni have access to things that they have never had access to before, not because of any reason, but just, it's really hard and busy to run a school, but we want to connect you to events that are really going to propel you forward. Just a quick update on our timeline. We have this deadline approaching really quick, July 15th, it's almost July. So we want to make sure that you are getting your application in. Don't wait until the last minute. That's when like a tech issue can come up or something like that. Please make sure you're getting it in early, attending office hours, getting all your questions answered. In September, our quarterfinalists will be announced. We have this date. It's now September 14th, live from Washington, D.C. So please mark your calendars for that. In October, our dates are October 9th and 10th. We'll be coming from you from Cleveland, and that's where all 64 quarterfinalists will attend. We'll pay for your flight and your hotel to come, and that's when we have our first annual YAS Prize Summit, which we're really excited about. We'll have the November Accelerator, and that's in Miami this year again. I already spoke to that. And then December, our finalists and our winner are revealed. So before I get to our alumni, two quick things to package this up. First, we know it's time to complete an application, but just by submitting your application, as long as you submit it by July 15th, you get access to our virtual accelerator and our platform, which just open up the amount of potential that your organization can have. And then, of course, if you become an awardee of ours, that's when you come to Miami with us, you get invited to certain events, really all to make what you do even stronger, even better, even more collaborative. Again, if you have questions, please put them in the Q&A. I'm happy to answer them at the end. I hope that I answered some of your questions, but I'm sure I missed some things. And without further ado, I invite David Wofford and Kenesha Skaggs to our Zoom. So excited to have you here. Let's start with you, David. So excited to have you guys here. Thank you for coming. David, can you start by sharing who you are, where you're from, and what you do?
Yes, I will. Thank you so much, Caroline. Great introduction. And I can't contain the excitement that I have for the new potential awardees that are coming. So we're excited for you as you go through this process. My name is David Wofford. I'm the superintendent of Chickasaw City Schools. We are a public school in South Alabama. We're in Mobile County, just north of the city of Mobile and just south of Saraland. We serve a high Title I population. It's a small school system, about 4 square miles, but it makes us very nimble. So we can change directions very quickly and get things done that we want to do. And that's part of being permissionless, is knowing that we can move in whatever direction we need to fit the needs of our students, our parents, our community. And the YAS Prize is all about meeting the needs of the students and not being confined to a certain way of doing things.
Awesome. Much more to come from David soon, but let's introduce Kenesha Skaggs. Kenesha, tell us who you are, where you're from, and what you do.
On the other side of this and just kind of encouraging you all as you turn in your applications. My name is Kenesha Skaggs, and I'm the founder of SOAR Academy. We are a private school. We were a micro school, Caroline, but now we're kind of a private school because we've increased our enrollment quite a bit. And we focus on students that are neurodivergent. We focus on students with autism, dyslexia, ADHD, and just students that need remediation, literacy intervention. And we do that through project-based learning and mental health support. That's a huge factor for our school system. So we've been super permissionless over the past decade with how we deliver education to our students. And we're just excited that at this point, we're able to share that at a state level and a national level with other schools that are doing the same thing for kids.
One of my favorite quotes from last year's Accelerator, Kenesha, was from you. And you said something like, before the YAS Prize, I would always say, like, can I do this? Do I have this cut out? And then after the YAS Prize Accelerator, you said, why not? Like, why? Of course, like, I got this. I can do this. Tell me a little bit, Kenesha, let's start with you, about the Accelerator. What made that experience different? Because obviously I can speak, but let's hear from you. What made it so different? What is something that you're still using based on something you learned from that accelerator?
Very good question. So the virtual accelerator was absolutely stellar, in my opinion. Roger Love just really speaking to us about how to present in person to people, how to have the right vocal, how to have the right eye contact that's really engaging for people. That is necessary to be a part of the YAS Prize because you want to be impressionable. So him teaching us how to deliver that was super important to this platform. Another thing that I really love is that Transcend, which was one organization, hopefully you guys will get to meet them again this year. They focused on C's, some C's that are really important with being innovative. And one of them was conviction and clarity. You guys already have the conviction within you that what you're doing is right. Being a part of the YAS family confirmed that what I'm doing is right. kind of going against the Common Core and focusing on what we know is important for kids really works. And having a network of people now that also agree with that was super huge. I had no idea how many people were innovating just like we are across the country. And then just clarity. Before we applied for the YOS Prize, we were not as clear on our mission and our vision. But after applying and just going through the questions that Transcend asked us, we knew exactly what type of teachers we wanted, what type of building we wanted, what type of funders we'd want to work with, who our political connections would be for us. So we were able to really narrow down who we were as a school. And it was in a way that just made everything clear to our investors. We can give 1 or 2 sentences and they now know who and what we are, and we're not as scattered in our thinking. So just helping us redirect our business model was a huge piece that we got from the accelerator.
I think that clarity piece is so important, right? Because it has to do with how you talk on your website. It has to do with how you promote yourselves on social media, how you talk to a board member, how you talk to a parent. I mean, Kanisha was in front of like 4 or 5 reporters on her amazing, when we went and visited them and at the roadshow, and they asked her questions that she didn't know beforehand. And she was so eloquent and so poised. I'm not saying that was directly in part to the accelerator, but having done her 3-minute pitch, wherein for 3 minutes she had to share why SOAR Academy should be a finalist, like that all helps, right? Roger Love helps, like it's part of that journey. David, do you want to add to that? You know, what was transformative about the accelerator for you?
Yeah, absolutely. The professional development that you receive in this, you could not afford for your district or for individuals. If you wanted all these people to come together and to hear what they had to say, there wouldn't be enough money to put them on the table. So you get the opportunity to hear people that are leaders of thought. And it began with some curiosity, because we as educators for the last really century, we've been in really tight circles. You know, it's just a tight circle, and you kind of go around the circle, and education, what you did 10 years ago comes back around 10 years later, and you're constantly moving. And what this does, it expands your territory. It expands your circles, and you start bringing tech leaders and thought leaders in business and thought leaders in investment. And you start opening a whole new network that you didn't really know existed out there. So when I think about it, I think about this is a rethinking of my approach to education. And we're all selling something. No matter who you are or what you're doing, you're selling something. You may be selling a product, you may be selling your school system, or you may be selling yourself, but we're all selling. And for the YOS Prize, it helped us, like they said, as far as clarity. We already knew what our mission was. And we were attracted to YOS, and they were attracted to us because we had a specific mission and we knew where we were headed with that. So what it does is it allows you to get more information on how to develop where you're headed on your mission and who to bring in, and then what you can accomplish with that.
I think who to bring in is such a great thing, because I showed that map, right? And there's going to be hundreds of people on the platform, right? And that could be really overwhelming of where do you start? Who do you want to connect with? But this idea, David, of who do you bring in? It's like, what do you want to do better? Right? So if I want to do financial literacy better, or I want to better meet the needs of my neurodiverse learners, we have people for that. And therefore you don't have to go out and spend lots of money and like do that research. Like we've done all the work for you to find the best of X, and now you just have to connect with them. David, can you talk a little bit about your connection, your collaboration with Oakmont? Oakmont is a charter school network. Obviously, David, works is the superintendent of a traditional public school. Can you talk to me about that collaboration that you guys have going?
So we're a non-traditional public school, I guess I should say. So we have a manufacturing program where we're producing 3D prosthetic limbs. Our students produce these, and we take them to underdeveloped nations, and they actually fit amputees in these nations, because that's where 80% of the amputees are. So our students are actually doing that. And we also have a classroom, a shipping container that's going to be a computer classroom that's solar powered, that will go to Honduras in the fall. So Oakmont heard what we were doing with that and a solar suitcase we've been sending to Ukraine, and they wanted to be a part of it. And not just Oakmont, but we've developed like 12 sister schools all over the country that are now helping us with the production of these prosthetic legs. Oakmont called up in the spring after we had been together and said, look, we want to bring some people down. I said, sure. How many are you going to bring? 2 or 3? They go, no, we're going to bring 13. And I said, absolutely, the more the merrier. So they came down and trained with our manufacturing teacher and our students for 2 or 3 days this spring. And that's some of the connections that we made with Yas. It's not just Oakmont, but there's so many others. I've been in contact with Rob Blevins over and over again about what he's doing and how we're going to get together and work on some collaborative projects. And Taylor Shedd, amazing things that she's doing in Dallas. So this just expands your horizons, like I was saying earlier, and you'll be able to link up with people and share ideas, improve what you're doing, but also you're going to be an improvement in the lives of others. And I think that brings me to another point. One of the speakers was talking about how through humility, we have an opportunity to really expand and do better things with each other in collaboration. So it's not about what I'm doing or what someone else is doing or what Kenesha is doing. It's about the humility of knowing what we can do together as we connect ourselves. Mm-hmm. And then the other thing was a culture of grace and a courage to change. All those were important ideas that came out through the accelerator. So I hope you all will take the time. It's worth every hour that you spend doing it. And we kind of arranged our schedule around it to make sure that we could do it and brought other people in as well. So
that's a great point. Kenesha, I'd love for you to expand on this. You know, one of the trepidations that we do hear from potential applicants is it seems like the virtual accelerator is a lot of time. I mean, and then if you become an awardee of ours, you're spending a whole week in Miami, right? And that just seems like a lot of time when, you know, I run a lean school. Like I'm very much like the substitute, like I help out and I help to run the school. So what would be your advice to people who are nervous about the amount of time the accelerator could potentially take?
Well, I'll say this, and I know it's been said before, the benefits that you gain from attending the accelerator, you just cannot put a price on it. The network that I have now, I didn't have before. Like, you know, I met my governor. I now have my representative's phone number. Anytime we need anything, she comes to our school and helps advocate for us. We've connected with Rock by Rock. They were one of the finalists the year before us. And so we use their curriculum for our science and literacy. And so it actually made my life easier. It's kind of like with any new business where you've got to sacrifice the first little bit of time to work around the clock, 24 hours to get it going. That's kind of what we had to be willing to do and commit to. And I'll say this, you have got to be adaptable and flexible. With the accelerator, yes, sometimes I'd be teaching or I have meetings going on, but I would let them know, look, I'm in here, I'm engaging, I'm talking in the chat box, but I can't have my camera on right now because, you know, maybe we have a teacher that's out sick. But one thing we did was once we realized that we were really all in with the Yas Prize, we went ahead and hired 3 or 4 subs. So the last 2 months of our school year looked a little different because we were a micro school. So I kind of wear many hats. So we hired 3 or 4 substitutes. They were ready to go. So we were able to easily make all of the appointments work. And again, a micro school, you know, we have a staff of 8 to 10 people. We're not a district, sorry, is it? And, you know, sometimes, like I said, I would be in the classroom, you know, helping out when we had sick teachers. And so being flexible and saying to yourself, nope, I'm going to make this work. I'd put the kids on a project and I would sit in the accelerator. So it's all about how much you're willing to, how invested are you in it? You've got to be invested. I'll say that. But what you get in return is just so magnificently huge. I just got back from North Dakota where I was working with Corey in his district, and his teachers were so hungry for how to reach neurodivergent students. They wanted lesson plan ideas. They wanted classroom setup ideas. I was able to give all of them that. And now we're going to be talking through Rock by Rock's platform on them implementing the things I gave them. And so just knowing that what I'm doing is changing someone's life in North Dakota, that's insanity. So if you go back to the reason why we're doing it, which like Rob said, we're putting kids first. And when you put kids first, it doesn't matter if you're public, charter, homeschool, it doesn't matter how you, what group you identify with, but if you are innovating for kids, you are going to get something out of that virtual platform. So we, like I said, it was a no excuse situation. We made it happen.
And that's this collective impact that, is so inspiring to us. You all are chosen because you're doing incredible things, individually in your states, in your communities. And you're well known and very credible because of the awesome work you're doing. But then when you bring together the best of all these people from all these states and you put them in one room for a whole week together, I mean, we still don't know all of the things that they're all doing with each other, right? Because it's just magnified and multiplied. And that's really the power.
Yes.
We don't have a ton of time left, but David and Kanisha, I'd love to hear from each of you. One last piece of words of wisdom. You were in their shoes last year. You were probably working on your application last minute, thinking about, do I have a chance? Is this a shot in the dark? What would be your advice? What would you tell your former self 1 year ago? David, let's start with you.
Okay, so first of all, the way I found out about the Yoss Prize, I was riding in the car listening to Pandora, and I heard an advertisement that says, "Are you doing something remarkable in education, something different?" And it went on to the advertisement, and so I pulled over and started writing this down. And that's actually, I would have never heard or known anything about it. So it was kind of a divine appointment, and I was very thankful for that. And as we went into this, a good friend and also a coworker, Jody McPherson, we really looked at each other and said, we think we can win this. We're doing some things that are pretty outside the box that are remarkable. And so we're going to give it a shot. And maybe we're not the person that will win. And maybe this will just will be something that we do and get some information on. Each step of the way was so exciting. To go through the accelerator and to learn from some of the people that we were exposed to was just so exciting. Our curiosity was piqued, and we continued to grow through that. But we were nervous, like, are we going to be able to do this? Do we have enough? And I would say to you, just be who you are. No, everybody else is taken anyway. So be who you are. Let them know what you're doing, and just have hopeful anticipation. Go through it, and I promise you won't be disappointed whether you win or lose. There's so much information that you'll glean from it, and you'll develop a network that you didn't have before. So I encourage everyone, just hang in there, see it through, and be excited about what the results are going to be.
Kanisha, what's your advice?
Yeah, so I'll say that, when I think about last summer where we were at, it was just my husband and I sitting in the family room just going, let's apply for this prize, you guys. And like I said, we were a micro school, 50 kids. So we weren't huge. And now this year we're working on opening up 3 campuses thanks to the Yoss Prize. So don't think that, well, we're not big enough. We're only serving 20 kids. You're never too small, because now I'm reaching people at the state level and national level. So you're never too small to apply for the Yoss Prize. One piece of advice I'd say is have your niche memorized within 1 to 2 sentences. You're going to have to repeat that niche so many times. You want it to be clear and concise so people understand who and what you are. It shouldn't be a babble session where people get lost in what you're saying and they walk away because you're kind of boring them. So make sure you're clear and concise throughout this entire process. With the application, if there's a 200-word limit, get as close as you can to the 200. Be as descriptive as possible. If you have someone that has writing skills, let them look over your application for grammar, for good cohesive paragraphs. Make sure it is organized well, because you're going to stand out if your information is well organized. Another thing I'll say is be vocal when you're in any of the accelerators, or if you're just talk in the chat box, ask questions, say who you are. People remember you when you speak more. So the squeaky wheel does get the juice. Definitely, you can't be shy. So put the people up front that are going to be vocal and very clear. Like I said, great communication skills. It doesn't have to be you. It could be someone representing the company for you. So definitely have those things in place, and you will stand out and you can soar. Like I said, we are a micro school turned to a now private school with multiple locations opening. So it's for anybody to be a part of, but know your niche well.
Couldn't have said it better myself. I'm going to go to some questions, but stay, David and Kanisha, stay on, because I might punt a question to you if you're better poised to answer it than myself. A couple of people are asking about eligibility. We have 9 or 10 questions at the beginning of our application that are yes or no questions that determine whether you're eligible. And at the most basic level, it's in the United States and currently working with students in the pre-K to 12 sphere. You don't have to be working with all grade levels, but some sort of span with there. We do accept nonprofit applications. We do accept for-profit applications. That doesn't matter to us. But what does matter is that you're working as closely to kids as possible. Here you have 2 school leaders and they're running schools. But we also have, you know, Rock by Rock was mentioned. They're a curriculum provider. Italy or Rapunzel or Stimuli, who David mentioned, are other examples that they are one step removed from students, but still having a really transformative impact on students. I would say the one area that we don't really, that is not a priority of the foundation right now is like teacher development. Obviously, that's so important. I was a former teacher. I know how important professional development is, but that's just not something that in, you know, past experience that we've really funded, because we know there's already a lot of people out there doing great work with it and getting funded. So Richard, I hope that answers some of your questions. Gregory asked, can I contact David and Kanisha? I'm sure on their websites they have some contact information, or Kanisha or David, if you want to put something in the chat, or the best way, you know, to connect at a school level, that would be great. I know someone else also asked about the videos. And Josephina answered that question, but I'll reiterate, we do not expect you to create new videos. The judges will barely see the videos until the way end. And that's if you become a finalist. We have some videos of you on our website. So please don't take that part too seriously, because it's really not anywhere near the importance of the short answer question. And we don't expect you to create anything new. So don't hire a camera crew, save your money, save your time, just show us what you already have. And if you don't have any videos, I don't think it's a required part, so you don't have to necessarily submit. Awesome. I know there was a couple more in the chat. Let me just go there real quick. Some date questions, videos. Any other questions? I feel like that was pretty light on the questions. I will share 2 quick next steps. So we have our last and final webinar coming up. Josephina will put the link in the chat, but it's right before our deadline. So that would be a great opportunity to just get some last minute excitement and inspiration from 2 more alumni that will be with us. Again, Yas Prize YouTube is where all of our webinars live. And so if you missed the one about permissionless or the one about sustainability, we have specific webinars tailored to each of the 4 STOP principles. And those questions on the application are so important. And so if you're really confused about sustainability or how we think about what it is to be outstanding, please watch those videos, because they will answer 99% of your questions. If it doesn't answer a question, info@yasprize.org is our email address to reach us. Please reach out to us anytime before July 15th. If you reach out to us at 10:30 p.m. on July 15th, it's going to be really hard to get those answers to you. So please make sure you're working through any sort of tech issues. Trust me, we've seen it, and we don't want that to happen to you. And then we have office hours every single Friday from 12 to 12:30 Eastern Standard Time on Zoom. It's really easy, yasprize.org/office hours. You type that in, you'll get right to our personal meeting room. And that's a way for us to meet with applicants and answer any questions that you may have. Not to pitch us on your organization, but really to ask more broad questions that can apply to a couple different people. Any last words of wisdom? You've already given us so much of your time and talent, but Kanisha, you have,
Students and I created a TikTok, and we just put it together with lots of pictures. So we didn't go out and hire a professional videographer because we didn't have a current video. So we redid it via TikTok, and it's on our website, which is soaracademy.net. The other thing I'll say is go through the all of the alumni members on the Yas Prize website and just look at their videos, study their story, study their vision, study their websites. I did that for weeks and weeks, and I watched the videos over and over, and that's how I knew what the Yas Prize was looking for.
Awesome. David, can you close us out?
One of the quotes is, we don't want to fill pails, we want to start fires. So I encourage each of you in your own sphere of influence to start fires.
David and Kanisha, thank you so much for being here. It's always so incredible. I visited Kanisha back earlier this spring and got to see them live in action. David, when we were with Oakmont, they couldn't stop gushing about all the work that you're doing with them. And so these are people that are not strangers to us. You know, they're doing the good work. They're keeping in touch with us. We're keeping in touch with them. They'll be at a lot of our events in the fall. You'll probably get to meet them and see these amazing heroes in action, celebrities, so to speak. So thank you, David. Thank you, Kanisha, so much for your time. And get
Thank
your
you.
application in. Don't wait till the last minute. All right, have a good
Good
day.
luck, guys.
Thank you all.
Bye.
Thank you, everyone.